all, it's Alex here from WP Eagle. Hope you're all well. Before I start, I'd just like to say thank you to Daryl for inviting me to create some videos for his brand new website, WP Friends. It looks like it's going to be a great place to hang out and meet and connect with other WordPress people and also share and learn and basically just become part of a fantastic new WordPress community. So yeah, I'm really pleased to be part of it from day one. And yeah, thank you, Daryl, for inviting me. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my free tips on how you can make your WordPress website run faster. Now, before I get into the tips, let me just clarify why having a fast WordPress website is a good thing. First, and probably the most obvious reason, is that it's good for your visitors. People nowadays, they're generally pretty impatient. They don't like waiting for things, especially waiting for websites to load. So if your site is slow, people just aren't going to hang around. They're not going to browse. They're not going to navigate between pages. They're going to get fed up and they're going to leave and they're going to go to another website that works better. Another thing to keep in mind is that the majority of your traffic is probably coming from people browsing on a mobile device. Now, these mobile devices can sometimes be a little bit slower. They're definitely slower when you're running on a 3G connection. So if you've got a slow site and someone tries to access it over a mobile 3G connection, it's going to be really slow. It's going to be painfully slow. And as I said, they're just not going to hang around. They're not going to wait for your pages to load. They're going to disappear and they're going to view someone else's website. The second reason for having a super fast website is for the search engines. Search engines like Google, they don't like slow websites, basically. If your website's slow, it's not going to rank well on Google because Google do not want to send people to a site that's going to be slow and give them a bad user experience, because that basically reflects badly on Google. Google just want to deliver the best sites and send people to the best, fastest sites with the best content and the fastest load times and sites that give a great user experience. So if you want to rank well on search engines, you need a fast website. Third reason is because it's better for you as a webmaster. If you're adding content or you're adding plugins or you're working on a theme and you're doing it on a slow website, it can take ages. You're saving and you're waiting, you're adding content, you're waiting, you're making changes and you're just waiting and it's eating into your productivity. If you're working on a super fast site, you can get stuff done more quickly, frees up more time for you to be productive and you don't get frustrated and it's just generally better all round. So for your own peace of mind, you need a fast website. Okay, one last thing then before I get on to the tips. You can test the speed of your website using a number of different tools. A couple that I like are the Google Page Speed tool and GTmetrix. You just basically enter your URL and it will give you a score and it will also give you some recommendations on what you can do to get a better score and improve the speed of your website. You'll find links to anything that I mention in the description of this video. My first tip is to optimize your images. Images are generally the #1 reason why a website is running slow. If you're not optimizing your images before you upload them, then you're probably uploading files that are too big. And if they're too big, then people are downloading data that they don't need. And it's just generally slowing down your site. There's a number of ways you can optimize your images. The first way is if you're using something like Photoshop, you can export your image as a JPEG. You can reduce the quality down to say around 80%. You can resize the image so that it's only as wide as it needs to be for the bit of content that you're using it in. And if you do all of those things, you'll find that you can reduce the file size quite considerably. If Photoshop isn't your thing, then you can install a plugin onto your WordPress site that will optimize your images as you upload them. I like the Smush It plugin by WPMU Dev. It comes with a free version that will optimize some of your images, but if you want the full shebang, you're going to have to go for the premium version. If you don't fancy adding a plugin to your site, the third option is to use an online optimization tool. If you do a Google, you'll probably be able to find some. Just type something in like online image optimization tool and you'll find a whole load. The one that I found that looks pretty good is called imagecompressor.com. You simply upload your images, it does all the compression work and makes them smaller and more optimized, and then you download them again and then you can upload them to your website. So that's my first tip, optimize your images. My second tip is to use a caching plugin. Now, by default, WordPress creates the pages every time someone views them. So someone visits a page on your WordPress website, WordPress builds the page, it pulls resources from the database and from your theme and from the plugins and all that kind of stuff, and it then serves the page to the visitor. This obviously takes a little bit of time and it uses some server resources. So depending on the speed of your server and a number of other things, it can take a little while to create those pages every single time. What a caching plugin does is it creates the page and then it saves a copy of that built page so that it's ready to serve to your visitors as soon as they hit the site. This can significantly reduce your page speed time because you don't have to wait for the page to be built. It's already built, it's just quickly served to the visitor and it's ready to go. The good thing about these caching plugins is that they often come with a load of other features to help you optimize the speed of your site, including things like gzip compression, CSS optimization, JavaScript optimization, and a whole host of other things that can really make a difference to how fast your pages load. There's a number of different plugins on the market. A lot of them are free, so that's good. One of my favorite is called WP Fastest Cache. You'll find it in the WordPress plugins directory. Just install it, turn it on, tick a load of the boxes, and away you go. One word of warning is that sometimes these plugins can break your site. So if that happens, you're going to want to go back into the settings on the plugin and then untick some of those boxes and then turn them back on gradually so you can identify which feature is breaking your site. And then obviously don't tick that box. If WP Fastest Cache doesn't take your fancy or doesn't work well with your site, you can also check out the W3 Performance Cache plugin, which is a very popular one. I find it a little bit too complicated, but you might be fine. And then finally, the third plugin that I've used and can happily recommend is WP Rocket, which is a premium plugin, but it does deliver some good performance improvements, although they are comparable to a lot of the free ones. So it's really whether you want to get that kind of premium support that you get when you pay for plugins. Again, you'll find all the links to everything that I mentioned in the description. My third tip is get better hosting. Yeah, seriously. The hosting that you use has a massive effect on how well your website works. Now, I recently did a full review of a number of different hosting companies, about 10 or so. You can find my findings over on my website, which is wpeagle.com. The full address is wpeagle.com/hosting. Again, you'll find a link in the description below. And what I discovered was that there is a huge difference between the different hosting companies out there. Now, I'm not going to go into all the results right now, but let me just say that the difference between the slowest and the fastest was big. I'm talking 8 or 9 seconds in terms of the page load speed. In fact, I did one test where I loaded all of the different sites into browser tabs. I refreshed them instantaneously, and the fast ones loaded like that, and the slow ones, well, I just had to wait and wait and wait. So if you want to see a big difference in the performance of your site, then just make sure that you've got some really good hosting. A couple of companies that spring to mind in terms of delivering really good performance would be SiteGround and A2 Hosting. Don't want to just take my word for it. Do check out Daryl's hosting comparison video, which he did recently. And I'm pretty sure that he found that SiteGround was one of the fastest companies too. One thing you might want to consider if you're running multiple websites is to invest in a VPS server. I was surprised at how well these servers perform. If you're not familiar with a VPS, it basically means that you have your very own server that you can do what you want with. They're generally much higher performance in terms of the spec. And the other good thing is it's all for you. So you're not sharing it with lots and lots of other customers, which is what happens if you take the traditional shared hosting. That brings the end of this video. If you've got any questions, then do leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to read as many as I possibly can. If you'd like to check out a few more of my videos, you'll find them on WP Eagle. Just do a search for that on YouTube and you should find me, or check out wpeagle.com. But anyway, until next time, bye for now.